tomorrow.
It's going down, baby. It's going down, baby.
Tomorrow! If you don't have plans, you do now.
If you guys missed this live stream, you're an idiot.
Listen,
You're an idiot.
I flogged myself, punished myself.
No.
For getting COVID
No,
right
we're
before
glad
the
you got
live
COVID. It's
show.
going to be even better.
Don't make us
Look,
sad.
because you know.
Why are we so depressed now?
Well, here's what happened. We had all of these plans, and part of these plans were highly sexual activities.
Don't
and I
flog yourself. Don't flog yourself. We'll do it to you on the...
We're now more
What is
prepared than
flogging?
ever. For
Everyone-
this.
Is that river dancing? What is flogging?
flogging.
By the way, I'm bringing the butt tape, so it's going down.
Please bring out the butt tape, and also this. I need I'm gonna do an enema prep before the show
Oh, we
because
are
I need you
inserting.
so far up my ass.
We are inserting.
I'm going in.
Esther's already there. I'm going to go remove Esther from upside your asshole.
You guys, April 13th. This is tomorrow. You only
We're
have a
so
couple hours
excited.
left to purchase tickets. You will not regret this. Any and all juicy things about us that you want to know.
Crusty,
Secrets,
juicy.
answers.
Just a fun time where it's happening in real time, and there is nothing like it, baby.
And
So-
I just feel like our energies are aligned, baby. Shit is going to go down. And I have a surprise for you guys that I am so excited about. I can't wait.
This could be the end of our show, but we're
If-
willing to take the risk.
Also, if you think you're the only one with a surprise plan, watch the fuck out.
Did Carlos surprise a plan for us?
momenthouse.com/trash Tuesday is where you'll get your tickets.
We'll see you at momenthouse.com/trash Tuesday. Get your tickets right now. It's going to be chaos.
It's going to be so good. We'll get to the bottom of whether COVID's real or not. See you guys. This weekend, you can see me with one of my best friends in the whole world, Josh Potter, in San Francisco at Cobb's Comedy Club. That's going to be April 15th and 16th. Then I'm going to be here in Los Angeles at Burbank and Flappers Comedy Club June 18th for one night. I'll be in New York in April, Syracuse. I'm going to be in San Jose, California, May 6th through 7th. Dania Beach, Florida, May 12th through 14th. Omaha, Nebraska, May 20th through 21st. West Nyack, New York, June. Austin, Texas, August. I'm going to be in Pennsylvania and Pittsburgh. I have a million other dates. I can't even get through all of them. Tempe, Arizona, Kansas City, Missouri, a bunch of places. Just go to annieletterman.com/shows. I'm coming to you, baby.
Listen up. DC, Brooklyn, Minneapolis, Chicago. Those are all coming up very soon. Get tickets now. EstherOnIce.com, AnnieLetterman.com.
Don't wait, you guys. It's so fun. It's an experience. We are so excited to meet all of our sluggies. It's like unbelievable.
Have a special night with us, and we'll see you guys. Enjoy this episode.
Esther, you came in with wet hair, but that was such a cool girl move when I was growing up in the Philippines.
Really?
Because it meant you had like indoor plumbing.
Oh,
I love this bra. I like this bruise. I like that someone just fucking gripped your ass up. And was that Carlos? Get in the car. Or were you trying to take a second bite of a cupcake? Carlos came and beat you. Yeah, we have eating disorders, bitches.
no, we don't. Well, we're
Yes,
managed.
we do. Yes, we do.
We
if
are-
I have one, it's none of your business. Grow
Yeah,
up.
we're in
Here's
our
my
30s.
thing. Here's my thing. If we learn your triggers, baby girl, that's on you. Okay. You look at us because we do our own thing and whatever we want. That we don't just do what you want us to do. That's why you like us.
Wait, what's
So I learned
happening?
to control your triggers, and I'll eat one half of a fucking bite of a cupcake if I fucking want.
Wait, were people pissed about
Yes, they were so. Everyone was so mad at
It's
how
just
we handled
learn your
the
own
food.
triggers. Learn how to
here's
manage
what-
yourself.
They're like, "It's your birthday. You can't eat the cupcake." I'm like, "It's my birthday. I'm gonna do whatever I
yeah,
fucking
I don't
want."
want to eat a fucking cupcake.
Also, I just inhaled like a whole pound of hash browns before I got there that
I had
day.
eaten breakfast. I had already done yoga. It's so disgusting, actually. It's actually disgusting that our fans would ever dare put that on us. You would dare put on your own feelings about your own body and your own eating on us. You know how we lead by example? We do whatever the fuck we want, whenever the fuck we want. And that's why you watch us.
I had
I
tons
could eat
of dessert
celery
that
juice
night.
all day if I want. It's none of your fucking business.
Dr. Drew!
Hi, Dr. Drew.
Oh,
Do you have
good
any celery
timing.
juice for us?
Good timing. Come on in.
Celery juice. Yeah, celery juice.
Celery
It's
juice.
like Veggie Tales, but with Jewish.
Hi, Dr.
good to
Drew.
see you.
Guys, how are you?
Hi, how's it going? Looking very fit.
Mwah.
Huh?
He's
Looking
always
very fit.
looking very fit.
Thank you. I forgot that I was going to be on camera, and I just threw on. It's hot outside.
It is so
Yeah.
hot
Yeah, I was
outside.
like, oh boy.
No, we're always on camera. We don't want to waste our youth.
Apologies. So,
So what's up?
What's happening here? Where do we start?
We want you to tell us what's wrong with us.
I mean, I can tell you. I feel offended that you think you need a doctor. I can tell you, bitch.
Go ahead. Let's hear it.
Okay. Esther has
We'll share-
control,
we'll
but
share-
listen, Esther has, Esther idolizes wealth.
Wait, that's literally you.
No, I am wealthy. And you idolize me. I don't idolize wealth. I just enjoy being rich. But I have a subconscious belief that I deserve money now, but it took me a sec.
That's
I
beautiful.
lived in my car. Yeah, you're changing. You're an edible girl now, so I don't know.
Dr. Drew,
I have to catch up to you guys. I
it's
feel like we're
fine.
hitting the ground running here.
We were having a rant.
we're
before
so
getting-
happy you're here. Guys, let's introduce the guest properly.
Yeah.
When I was a very sad immigrant coming to the United States at
She's
the
our
age of
refugee.
15, I didn't have any guidance about my body, sex. There was nothing out there. This week's guest was my North Star. You taught me
you.
everything. I would have been so dead on the side of the road, a big bag of bones, if it wasn't for you.
That's
So
very kind.
Now, if Adam
Everybody-
Carolla was here, what would you say to him?
the opposite.
No, but he was part of the reason it was all digestible.
It did
and we were
work.
able
It
to
did
do
work
it.
perfectly.
Yeah.
And
And,
it-
you know,
felt-
we're under attack now. We're for being creepy and for, not being sensitive to issues that everyone's so sensitive
Well,
to now.
you're in the right show.
I know. The
We
thing
don't
is,
give a
look,
fuck.
what's motivating me to do it in the first place was, speaking of North Stars, Anthony Fauci pounding on us young physicians to get out there and educate about AIDS.
Oh.
And that was really my original motivation, one of my original motivations to doing it. And he was a big, important person to me during AIDS. I took care of probably thousands of AIDS patients over my
I didn't know you were an
terms.
AIDS guy. This is cute.
I did lots of that, lots of AIDS.
Pounding out the AIDS. I like that.
It was hard, man.
I know,
And
that's wild.
Now I'm saying, look, there's nobody around to tell the tale of
Yeah.
how dark that was, how awful.
Well, I remember
Ugh.
in elementary school we read like Ryan White's story and stuff. It was like it was top news.
But this
all
was
AIDS.
hundreds of thousands of
Yeah.
really talented young men just destroyed, and this thing would just tear people apart. It was a terrible illness. 100% fatality, not a 1% fatality. 100% fatality. Different thing than this last pandemic.
Yeah.
You don't know it was 100% fatality? You look shocked.
I didn't.
He came in
AIDS-
hard with AIDS. I like that. He came in AIDS hard.
before AZT, which got us over towards the antivirals, and before we came up with effective treatments for 10 years, it had a 100% fatality rate.
Wow.
That's-
And it was fast back then.
And
too,
I was
right?
as a third year medical student, it could be. I was routinely telling people they had 6 months to live.
Wow.
Routinely. We
Yeah.
were never wrong either. They come in with their first episode of pneumocystis, and that was the trigger that you had 6 months.
Wow.
The clock is gone. We don't know what's going to take you. It's going to be a lymphoma or a CMV or
Yeah.
coccidioidomycosis in the brain or whatever.
CMV. It's rough.
It was so
But it
bad.
wasn't like you have 6 months to live, so go enjoy your life. It was like you're about to get really sick too. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah.
Esther, we love to open with AIDS on this show.
do. It's-
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say I loved you on Celebrity Rehab because
I knew that was
loved-
going to be the one you liked the most.
I loved Mary Carey on that show, and I thought like it was really cool.
Mary is doing really, really well.
Really?
Yeah. She's had a couple more treatments and really got into sobriety. Yeah, really good.
How
amazing.
many of the celebrities after shooting are like, please cut me out, and are just begging, or are they interested?
cut-
Like, do they feel like so vulnerable? It's so vulnerable to be.
Oh, the
on-
having been on the show?
Yeah,
So-
like when
so-
they're like afterwards, like.
All right,
I
so
don't
I'll
want-
tell you some interesting stories. When we first did it, I was very nervous. It was not my idea. Somebody came to me and I was like, you can't do that. And we sort of kept thinking about it and solving problems, and all of a sudden we were doing it. And I was like, I just need to be sure these cameras aren't harming you guys. You're okay. So every, the groups we would do every day, I'd start the group. I go, you all right? You okay? It's okay. You still want to do this. You should feel good about it. And I was doing that for about 2 weeks. And finally, Mary Carey leans into me and she goes, Drew, I've done just about everything in front of a camera. I understand what this is. This is fine. This is no big deal to me. And I thought, oh, good for her.
If people
And-
don't know, she was an adult entertainer.
yeah, she still does a lot of stuff online and things.
She's
whatever
Benjamin
she's doing.
Buttoned. She's now young. She's sorry. Okay.
So what? Unknowing to me, there was a wonderful transition that happened to every single patient. Most of the people came on the show to fuck with me, to like mess us up, to get paid, to be on TV, and a small percentage also knew us because we treated them before or something, and they wanted to get some treatment for free and to get paid for it. They were getting paid. All of them went through this transition where they came in, being problematic and trying to screw with us taking the treatment very, very seriously, them recognizing that, participating in that, getting something out of it and feeling good about it. And every single person by the end of treatment was like, oh my God, you're really doing something important here. I want to be a good example for other people. I got to make sure I really take this seriously. It was uncanny. Every single one of them went through that transition.
Did you
and
ever?
I was so grateful for that. I didn't know that was going to happen, but it did for everybody. And so that was good. And a lot of them, we had to treat them long after, right? 3 weeks of treatment is not, you're not done.
That's what I was going to ask. So there is a continuation of treatment.
Oh yeah. I made them put aside lots of money for ongoing care for people if they need it.
From you or no?
I did some
well, you're
of it.
like, the cameras are off.
I did it for free because I felt like it was my obligation
okay.
to fill these guys out. But we would just put them in halfway houses, and I had psychiatrists see them. We had lots, and some of them refused it. Some of them refused it, but we gave it to them if they needed it.
Did you ever think
They
any of
wanted
them
it.
were kind of like faking having an addiction or having a
Some
problem?
there's a few things that happened that weren't on camera, thank God, that were like confusing to me. Some people. I can't talk about it.
Yeah.
In place where people didn't belong there. So, but we
Yeah,
didn't
yeah,
put them on TV. That's all. So.
Esther, maybe we can get you high enough to go on celebrity rehab.
You have to have addiction. You don't have to just be high. You have to
No,
have
she
addiction.
actually is like one of the very few examples I've seen of like weed really being medicine and working.
Working.
She-
good.
yeah, she's
my
doing great.
daughter's cannabis was her drug of choice, and she's in recovery now. And she's
Really?
doing well.
You will not be. Don't worry.
You have to be careful.
Okay, what do you mean?
Thank you for saying that, because I think that's exactly what happened to my partner, Bobby Lee.
Yeah.
You know, when
I sat there and told him there was a problem. Do you
We
remember
all
this?
did.
Yeah.
But that was before anybody knew, including him.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, something's not right. You remember that conversation?
Yes, I do,
And he's
because-
avoided me ever since.
Yes.
And I'm like, what the hell, dude?
He's
That's
doing
so
so
funny.
much better,
I'm sure
by the
he
way.
is, but he's avoiding me for some reason. I'm going to see him in Austin, by the way.
Oh, you will,
I'm
next
going to go to
week.
the Cheeto Santino
Oh,
event.
good.
Yeah, and don't tell him. I'm going to bum rush him.
Wait, but I need to ask, how do you know if it's like a problem?
Consequences. If you're having consequences.
Okay.
And there's there's three sort of hints. A,
Okay.
family history of alcoholism, if you have that background.
Okay, I have that.
Oh, come on.
B is you'd like to stop, you try, you can't stay stopped.
She's never tried to stop.
No comment.
Yeah, and then,
Yeah, never
and-
tried.
And then 3 is consequences. And by consequences, work or school, finance, health, legal.
What about this bruise?
Okay, that was from a massage.
relationships. Relationships is often
Where
where
they're
it really
massaging
comes
a
down.
blunt out of your mouth?
Relationships.
Yeah, if your relationships are fucked up, because
But that's
it's
like-
okay to use. We're on digital
Yeah.
here, so-
Right, but that's the thing. It's like anytime there's a conversation about, weed, it's always like, oh, but it's just weed. And that was perpetuated in Bobby's head. It is just
Yeah.
weed. He would justify it. I'm like, look at the consequence. There's literally, he's a
Khalyla,
consequence king.
It
came
is
to
just
us-
it is just weed in the same sense that it's just alcohol.
Yeah.
Right? Because if you have the genetics for these disorders,
Yeah.
nothing's just
Right.
whatever. Whether it's alcohol or weed or benzodiazepines, whatever, you have to be super, super careful because you have this genetics. If it's the average person who likes to drink glasses of wine and smoke some indica at bedtime, fine.
I can't even imagine drinking 2 glasses of wine. What the hell would that be?
That's how my fiance is. He literally can just have like a little bit of wine at night. He can have moderation. He can do
How old are you?
moderation. 34.
Yeah. So the fact that that looks odd to you, you know what I mean? I would just go,
But Esther, there will be consequences if you stop taking edibles.
I'm
We will whip your ass.
I'm not advising you to do anything.
No, I know.
I think everybody's got to do what's right for them. That's all. And,
Yeah. Well,
and I
I'm-
keep telling people think I'm like the party pooper or whatever. I'm the narc
No
police.
way.
My thing is like, if you have trouble stopping and you can't stop and you want help, I can help.
Yeah.
That's it. That's
Good
it. That's
to
my
know.
thing.
I'm also, I have never tried alcohol and weed. I just discovered it like 6 months ago.
You never tried alcohol?
No.
Because of your parents?
Because my grandma.
Grandma,
Yeah.
yeah.
My parents don't drink
Yeah.
either, but
Well,
yeah, it's a weird situation. We're figuring out day to day.
But do you feel like, is there ever like a problem where you're like, I fucked up, I should
well, one of the things, here's one of the clues. I'm not saying it's a categorical clue, but one of the clues that there could be a problem is usually when people are first exposed to cannabis, they're like, no big deal. And then like around, as though there's some priming effect of this drug, like the second or third or fourth time, all of a sudden it's like, whoa, this stuff is awesome. And the thought that comes into your head is, I love this stuff.
I'm like better on this.
I
than
love
off of it.
I love it.
Love it.
I love it. Do you love it?
Why?
Because that's the thought that people have when they have this biology. that you could be heading for trouble.
What if it was, I loved it on the first try though?
It happens that way too.
Oh, okay.
You must have had, did you have a lot, like a edible or something?
I'm gonna,
I have a question
Usually
about
people don't take enough
weed.
to get that.
I'm
I'm
gonna
telling her to.
jujitsu
I'm not
fight
telling
you.
her. I'm not telling her to.
You
keep
are,
it in my
everyone around you is happy too. It's like you are, I used to go
So it's
on,
working for you. See, this is
but
the
I used to
problem.
be on record saying like weed
Yeah.
fucking, because for me it's like it has a bad
Right, you're
addictive
not going to be an
effect.
addict ever.
What's that?
You're never going to be a weed addict. It feels shitty when you take it.
Well, I
That's
think
never gonna
but
happen
it
to
still
you.
feels shitty, and then I take it, and stuff. I have a problem with weed. I don't see it with her though.
It's hard to have a problem with if you feel shitty on it.
Well, I feel not enough, but I like the being bad the part of
That's
doing
different.
it.
That's
So I
different.
used to smoke
There's
a
a lot of
lot.
information packed into that statement.
Oh, there's a lot. Do you remember? Wait, do you remember when I did like a very quick sit down with you on your radio show? What you did it was the Comedy Store had like an event at the Fonda Theater.
Yes, I do remember.
Okay.
Bobby was there too.
I bombed so hard. I bombed so fucking hard. And then they're like, go talk to Dr. Drew. So I sit down. I'm like, my face is, I'm spinning. Like I bombed so bad. We were outside. Like we were getting heckled by helicopters. Like planes were going by. I was like in hell. And then Brody had just fucking crushed. It was like, Brody, you fucking scumbag. You fucking just made us
I
all.
just talked to Brody too, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then he was like, I got to get off this earth once he talked to you.
Annie.
I'm just kidding. Oh my God. I'm joking. I talked to him more recently than you for that. I promise. If we're going to blame anyone, I talked to him literally the day before. So.
Oh, that's a very sad story.
But no, it's really sad.
Dr. Drew's like, there's too much going on
No,
here.
I'm following now.
Okay,
It took me a while to get hooked
So
in.
I
but I'm
ate
following.
shit, and then I saw someone crushing. So then I couldn't blame like the audience or the circumstances. So I was like
see.
in my like
You
shame.
were fine.
I was in my shame, and I sit down, and you said something along the lines of like, so what? Like, you know, I'm not quoting you, but it was something like, what fucked you up to get here? And I was like, you want me to tell my rape story? And you
I
were
do
like,
remember this.
oh.
If that's where we need to
And
go.
then I was like, I just told it on Marc Maron's podcast, and you're like, are you promoting another podcast, my podcast? And I went, yes, I am, Dr. Drew. I just couldn't. I was like, I can't bear to tell it again. But
I do remember that. I do.
So, Dr. Drew, Annie and I were diddled a lot.
Molested in every hole.
Just about. As children, as tweens, as teens, and young adults. Every
Young adults,
stage
there were
of our
some
life.
drinky,
And we
schmapey
have a
times,
lot
too.
of similarities. Like we have excessive, like we have hyperhidrosis.
Sweaty armpits.
Interesting.
There's a
Jaw,
lot,
TMJ.
yeah, like a lot of parallels between us, like physical
You've read the book,
manifestations.
the
Body Keeps
Yes,
Score.
yes.
I haven't read it. I've heard people have given me like readings.
I've seen
challenge.
the cover of it.
I was getting jizzed on by my teachers, not taught to read. So
So is
teachers.
yes.
Yes.
Wait, me
You
or
too?
you? Congratulations.
What age group? What age teachers? Like what?
well, I was when my
Oh my God.
my
Is it bad
biggest
to
one-
say I have FOMO right now?
I don't no, it's okay. I'm jealous of that bruise.
Keep going.
Mine was in high school. It was my high school teacher, but I took him to court.
Good for you.
Yeah, I got his ass. But it was really, I really feel like the lesson that I'm learning now is like, it was good that I did that because
Yes.
it was the reaction was not positive when I went to court.
I'm just telling you, you saved other people.
I know. That's how I feel too. I mean, he got like 3 years probation, but then when I told it on Marc Maron's podcast again, I was very scared. I'd still have PTSD around it.
Yeah.
I was really scared to tell the story. And I didn't want to get like sued or anything. Like
Yeah,
I just
that's the
didn't
big
know.
thing, yeah.
So I didn't say any names, but
Yeah.
people figured out who he was. And then I got DMs from people and they're like, he was about to start working with at-risk kids again.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
So I fucking got his ass
What
again.
is what
Good.
is
Wrong
that
girl.
about people that work with at-risk kids? Because I was in I won't say the hospital, but it was somewhere in Torrance, and I was there on I had attempted suicide as a teenager, and I was put there for 3 weeks. And sure enough, I got into a relationship with one of the counselors there
Oh, my
after I
God.
left.
Yeah, that's so horrible.
But it's like it's you always hear that with like people who like seek out to work with.
I think it's because we're less credible. Like they can be like, "Oh, you're like," or
There-
maybe
there-
our parents aren't
maybe
paying
the
attention.
teacher part of it, but on the treatment side,
Yeah.
it's usually people that are injured, right, themselves, haven't spent enough time in proper treatment or not being properly supervised. I mean, I've had it happen in drug units where they go out and do drugs or they have sex with patients. It happens a lot of drug units, and that's just poof, gone for good.
I'm only laughing at you white knuckling the chair. You came,
Yeah,
you
it's
came
a
in
lot.
hard.
It's
Even
just-
for you, we thought you might be it.
So, Dr. Drew, one more hard-hitting question. I was fisted by my family doctor.
I think I was fingered on the way. I came out breech, and I think the doctor fingered me out.
So when I first came from the Philippines, we're dumping really all our bad stuff on Dr.
I know
Drew. I'm
we've
so
been waiting
sorry.
for this day.
Okay, it's all good. It's all good. I'm a little short of breath, but it's good.
Esther's short, so that's okay.
The opposite of Annie, where like I didn't know the protocol of how to report someone as a teen,
course.
and he was our family doctor. In fact, he was our doctor until my dad passed away.
Yeah.
You know, he was the attending. He was everything. And so like we would go in for, let's say, because I was a swimmer, I have a shoulder injury.
Yeah.
And somehow I always had a finger up my ass, that appointment, you know? And in my head, I was like, oh, this is just how American doctors do it. This is the head to toe
there was a
physical.
lot of training in my era
Mm-hmm.
to always do a rectovaginal, they'd call it this procedure. That we were,
What?
if we didn't
Really?
we didn't do it, we were like, weren't following the attending's directions. So you do a pelvic exam, right? You feel the uterus. That's
Yeah.
what we're doing.
For the shoulder injury?
I'm just saying. This is the procedure. I don't know why he was, the fact that he did a pelvic is like, but and then you're supposed to do this till you feel the septum between the vagina and the,
Like
and the
two
rectum.
But then he
legit
would
to
do
quit.
this and he would pull out my discharge
out.
and say things
Uncle
like, oh,
Joey.
you're a healthy girl. And then
Yeah, they call it Spinbart-Kite. This is a generation of physicians.
But
that
I'm
did
glad
this
that you're
shit.
saying this too, because I went to a gynecologist who was an older, he was like maybe in his 60s.
Yeah.
This was like, and he just stuck his finger at my asshole, and I was like, I've never had a gynecologist not.
So
like,
those were the
warn
guys who were
me.
training my generation.
Right.
And they were like, just you have to do this every time. You're not completing the pelvic exam if you don't.
Really?
Yeah.
So
I stopped doing that a long time ago. But I did it in
I just would
training.
have liked a warning. I just was like, I think you're in the wrong hole, sir. I've been in this situation
no,
before,
it's
never
they're
with the
feeling
doctor.
they're checking for stool for blood and other things.
Yeah.
They feel like that was their responsibility. Well, part of it was gynecology from like 60s, 70s, and 80s was misogynistic,
Yeah.
like severely misogynistic.
Whoa.
It was all men. That was the first thing I noticed when I went to my first gynecology training. I was like, well, these guys hate women.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, before women infiltrated the profession.
They didn't like our
but even
team.
then, some of the women were sort of tough on the patient. That was really odd. It was very odd the way they treated
Yeah.
the patients. Yeah,
Esther.
So I
it's gone now. It's not like that. It's not like that.
while I think that might have been part of how he learned to do
Yeah,
like
just the
you know,
fact that he did it
physical-
every time you came in is crazy.
Yeah, and so, but I never reported him. But then, you
Yeah.
know, my sister and I during the pandemic, she was having a lot of like problems dealing with being
What
like
happened, yeah.
touched in that way.
Oh, she was affected too by him. Oh.
Yeah, and so was my mom. And so, but we didn't know any better. We were just like, this is just how doctors in America do
Yeah.
it. That was the thing. But we looked him up, and sure enough, like he had lost his license. I guess like he would grope women while during a stress test. Like he would just like do these weird things. So like, but I always have that guilt of what you don't have guilt about, which is you saved a lot of people. I was so silent.
I got
didn't know what
spit
to
on.
do.
I got called a liar. I had a lot of
So-
trauma around that.
So
too.
that's really interesting. But let's examine what you're feeling.
Can we talk about Truebill?
I can't wait to talk about Truebill has my number at this point, okay? And I did sign up for an automatic spray tanning thing, and I know that
Annie.
listen, I know you guys have seen me the past couple episodes. I've been pasty white,
You look beautiful.
but I'm just saying there has been no spray tan, but I have paid for it.
Really?
It's an automatic payment.
You know what I've paid for? An app that identifies insects.
That
For 2
is-
years, I paid $19.99
Did
a
it
month.
identify this one? Can we see what this one is?
A little baby spider.
I'm a critter.
You guys, Truebill is a new app that helps you identify and stop paying for subscriptions you don't need, want, or simply forgot about.
If you were in a manic episode before you were going to, say, Hawaii with your two co-hosts, and you thought, maybe I want to be spray tan for the rest of my life,
Yes.
so I'll pay for a month at a certain rate, and then you forget, Truebill's got your back, okay?
And maybe you thought you were going to be an entomologist and you wanted to pay for a service that identifies insects, every insect that you ever see in the outdoors. And 3 years down the road, you're still paying for it. This is the app for you.
Apps don't sleep, okay? You can get a subscription in the middle of the night when you are not thinking clearly.
Also, isn't it so messed up that most of these things, like they make it so difficult to cancel subscriptions?
Oh, dude, they make it impossible and they do it on purpose. They know what they're doing. And on average, people save up to $720 a year with
a
Truebill.
week.
If you're Annie. Because companies make subscriptions hard to cancel, Truebill makes it incredibly simple. You just link your accounts and Truebill will cancel your unwanted subscriptions in one tap. And your Truebill concierge is there when you need them to cancel unwanted subscriptions so you don't have to. You guys, don't fall for subscription scams. Start canceling today at truebill.com/trash Tuesday.
Go right now. Subscribe to us and then like it, and then go right now after that.
Go right now. That's truebill.com/trash Tuesday. It could save you thousands a year. By the
Nutrafol's
way,
amazing.
I know this is a product that we all use, and people may not know this, but 30 million women are impacted by weakened or thinning hair. And if you're among them, know
We're
that
balding. These boys are taking all the attention from us.
you're
but they're
not
balding.
alone. Exactly. We
I've
have
had,
this too.
and not only that, I'm not balding, but I've had this like these baby hairs forever. Okay.
Same.
And they pop up. And now that I've been taking Nutrafol, it's like they're getting longer and flatter.
Look, this isn't an overnight fix, and this is why I believe in the product. If you take it every day as recommended for a couple of months, you will see a difference. I know I have. After I turned 30, my hormones just kind of went wacky on me, and I started shedding. Since Nutrafol, though, I can finally say I have my hair back for once. I never thought it was possible.
I have to say, too, that I'm seeing it everywhere now, and I'm seeing more and more people using it and having results. And I feel like, well, we're a part of spreading the love, and I'm proud of us.
It's just, who knew that we had to worry about our hair aging?
I know.
Ladies.
You can grow thicker, healthier hair and support our show by going to Nutrafol.com/trash and save $15 off your first month subscription. This is their best offer anywhere, and it is only available to U.S. customers for a limited time, plus free shipping on every order. Thank you, Nutrafol. Get $15 off at Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com/trash.
So much of being traumatized is shame and guilt, right? And you're taking that shame and guilt and you're making it explicit, which is I should have saved people. Also, don't do that.
Yeah,
you were a kid. You come on. You cannot. You had a dude that was doing some very strange victimizing that you'd have difficulty identifying as an adult. As a kid, it's like, no, don't do that yourself. And also, that's shame from whatever came before, too. It's all connected. It
is all connected.
And also,
shame
it's
is
like,
a horrible emotion.
It's just the most important thing is to like get yourself healthy and stuff too, because I mean, I do really think most of the trauma was around the coming out about it. It was just the reaction to people. Yeah,
for you,
me.
yeah, of course. Well, you got explicitly shamed. Mm-hmm. Not only
that was a fucking crazy thing.
Yeah, and had you been abused before that too?
Oh
my God. Mm-hmm. So.
We cry and we laugh on Trash Tuesday because it was while we were all getting molested. We had solace in listening to you and Adam Carolla.
And how many trauma victims we were dealing with?
I know, but that's a thing.
And I think we went through a pandemic of trauma from starting in the 70s. I blame the 70s. I really do. It was literally people would say things like, children are just little sexual beings or whatever you're into, man. You do it. You act it out, whatever. And they did the same thing to women too.
Yeah.
So the reason you have a Harvey Weinstein is because that era was raised on women want sex as much as you do, and you know how much you want it. They're suppressed by society. Right. You got to bring them on, be as aggressive as possible to help them.
Yeah,
that's the bullshit that was going on in the 70s. I'm telling you, that's what was going on. Children are sexual beings. Women need help by being aggressed against. It was the worst decade of the American experience.
My high school was had started out in the 70s as a Montessori school, and then it turned into like an alternative school. We called our teachers by the first name, which if you're calling your teachers by the first name, they're fucking you. Yeah. There was just no boundaries in between.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It was like
boundaries were blown apart in the 70s, and then hey, whatever you're into was sort of the cry of the day, and kids that were sexually abused have a certain probability of becoming perpetrators too. And then
only to Esther.
Yeah,
because she wants it.
She
feels left out. We have to, give her a little slap.
Okay, I hear you. And then people that perpetrate don't perpetrate on one person. They do it to many, many, many. And so this thing grows fast.
Well, that hurts the most because it's like you're not even special.
You weren't even acted out against you. You were left out.
No,
would you like to be a perpetrator?
Time, Angel. There's still time, baby.
No. And I have my own traumas that I'm not fully out with like they are because they're brave.
Your traumas.
You're not brave.
Let's do it together. I have loads of trauma in my childhood.
Yes, I want to know your traumas, Dr. Drew.
I had a mother that was nutty, super crazy, and very abusive. mommy dearest sort of way.
Wow.
Like a Munchausen?
A mesh?
No, not just think not Munchausen.
That's mommy dead and dearest.
Yeah,
mommy
yeah.
dearest.
Mommy
okay.
dearest, Joan Crawford. Like,
Yes.
you
Okay.
know, no wire hangers, but really significant emotional abuse.
Yeah. Sorry, Esther.
What?
Being
Well,
more
let me
braver than you.
let's go on the success side. I've had lots and lots of treatment, and it's
Yes.
been, and what I've been left with, what trauma leaves you with a certain amount of some assets too, right? So one of the reasons I'm good as a clinician is I had to tune into my mom all the time and make sure she wasn't losing her shit, or because that would come at me. So I got very good at tuning into other people, and that now that I have boundaries and that I can regulate my emotions, that's a significant asset.
Yeah.
I mean, I can feel what's going on without even looking at you. I can feel it.
But
I
isn't
can-
that's sort
You know
of
what I'm talking about?
yeah, so like that's been my kind of, I feel like it's a curse, is that I've had to be so acutely aware of my mom's little switches,
Yes, that's
because
it.
there was an
That's-
implication for myself.
You got to get treatment. Have you had treatment?
I've been in therapy since I was 14,
You had
on
EMDR?
and off. I have had brain spotting.
Let me get you some EMDR going. maybe.
Woo! Oh my God.
But see, the first time I was so freaked out after brain spotting that I didn't, because it was during the
will freak
pandemic.
What is
you out.
brain spotting?
It's basically like you have like binaural beats
Right.
in your ear.
Yeah.
And then based on where you look, it taps into either a memory or a trauma. And it is so, for me, it was really overwhelming. I didn't have anyone at home to kind of decompress with afterwards. And
Right.
it fucked me up. I was so freaked out and
Right.
scared and like spooked for
Yeah.
3 weeks after that.
That is more of an anxiety treatment specifically. It works for trauma as you get into it, but it does make you feel fucked up.
Yeah.
I mean, but my really good EMDR therapists will all say that after somebody really first couple sessions,
It's like purging it, right?
they will accuse the therapist of having broken them. Like, you broke me.
Oh,
Something's
I
wrong
didn't
with me.
I didn't see the therapist again.
Because she felt like
Oh, you
she did
didn't get
something
your
to you. She
follow-up,
broke you.
yeah.
Yeah, like I remember
Was that out in the valley?
No, it was. Well, I did it from home. That was the problem.
Oh, no.
And then
no,
I remember vomiting.
Yeah.
It was just so jarring. It
You
was
find
too much.
delight in her
I'm
suffering.
just so excited. No, I'm just so happy you're here. It's like I really like. I'm like about to cry because it's just like it's nice to have someone that like understands what we're talking about.
And you feel
Well-
It was like
seen
a
and
lot.
heard.
Yeah, it was like a lot. The shit, and we joke about it, and it's like funny, and I'm glad. But it's nice to have some. This is so good.
I'm so happy.
But it's so nice to have you,
It-
and
it-
it is like a nice like.
It
You
is
have a good energy. It's like not. It just doesn't feel. We don't feel judged. We
Yes.
don't feel.
No, you shouldn't
Like-
feel shame. You shouldn't feel good. You shouldn't feel judged.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't hold back. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I see this as the problem of our time. I really do. And the more you can joke about it, the more you can talk about it. You've talked about it with me on podcasts
Right.
and stuff before, and you've been very open about it. And I think that I firmly believe that helps not just
Yeah.
you, it helps you to be that way, but it helps other people. Like you've done it.
Yeah.
You've helped other people.
Yeah.
You've helped right in front of me. I've seen you help other people.
It's so
So-
cool. And like when we go on the road and like all these people come up and they're like, I was molested
It's so
too. And
common.
it just feels so like what we're like on this earth to do.
you
It
got
just
to get
feels really
treatment.
good.
You got to get. You
Yeah.
can't just go. Part of it is acknowledging and opening it up,
Yeah.
really sort of. I don't want to say normalizing it, but bringing it into the
Yeah.
room, so to speak. But you got to get the body right.
Yeah.
Because
How
the
do you
body is what
know-
is fucked up.
Because I think that TMJ and like I feel like our bodies are in fight or flight with the like
of course,
sweaty armpits. And
you got to read
stuff
the
and-
book.
Yeah.
How do you know how to treat
How do you know how to read?
yourself? How do you know what to do to get better?
It's a really good question, right? And how do I know what's the right kind of therapy and that kind of thing? It really depends on the case.
Okay.
And you kind of have to find your way sometimes.
Like
You
if you're on 5 milligrams of Lexapro and you take an edible at night after your set, and you're not hurting anybody. Like, is that cool? Are we cool?
You and I are cool. You and I are very cool. Yeah.
You're doing good, Esther. I'm proud of you.
But
You
No,
really are.
I have a feeling.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know you very well at all, but because we've sort of done, we've all done other stuff together. I'm gonna bet cognitive behavioral therapy would help you, which is an easier, kinder kind of
Okay.
CBT. It's-
Okay. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. I do want to give you a quick recap of what basically last year I had a miscarriage and it was a really traumatic post the DNC. Like I was in a lot of pain. Khalyla was helping me through that. And I never have, like I told you, I've never tried drugs or alcohol. Like I've been sober my whole life because I had a addiction to food. I was a binge eater. I did a 30-day treatment program like 8 years ago, whatever. I'm in recovery for that, and doing well.
Do you talk about your substance use though in those groups?
I haven't done, I'm not in groups for
groups.
that
Okay.
anymore.
Okay.
I did OA, but it wasn't a fit.
Okay.
But anyway, so I had the miscarriage, was in crazy pain, and the doctor had prescribed me hydrocodone, and I would normally never touch anything like that, but I was in so much pain. I was like, Dad, give it to me.
It's totally appropriate.
Yeah. But then I really liked how I felt that night. And I called two of my guy friends, Carlos and our other friend, John, and was like, a couple weeks later, I was like, I actually really like that. Like, I think I want more of that. And they were like, don't do that. Maybe try weed. And that's how
Well, it's a lesser problem, that's for sure.
Okay.
But do you feel like it's a problem, or do you feel like you like have heard it being a problem with other people and you're afraid it's going to be a problem?
Good question. I feel when I think about that, honestly, I'm like, it's not interfering with my life, but I love it so much.
Be careful.
That I know that's dicey.
That's dicey.
Sketchy.
That's not a normal relationship with a substance.
Okay.
I've had patients tell me, I've had patients with guns in their mouth and who tell me they couldn't pull the trigger because they loved their drugs so much they couldn't do that to the drugs.
Oh my God.
That's how much drug addicts
They're like
love
relationship.
They're like
it.
love,
Dating
like
them.
love them. And so that's part of the addictive process. Look, there are plenty of
that's
alcohol.
a plus for drug use. That would save a life. So there's some pros and cons.
There are plenty of alcoholics that still drink and do okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They manage to control it and whatever. There are people that do it. If you get to a certain point, then you gotta do
That's
something.
so weird. I quit drinking when I was 25, right when I started comedy. And I feel like so lucky because I replaced that drug with like my career. So I never feel like I'm going to drink again. But I definitely I'm not like Bobby level, like smoke weed and it can.
Is he sober right now?
He is sober
Okay,
now.
good.
He's doing
Yeah,
good,
Bobby's a
Yes.
serious drug addict.
I know, like
Serious.
Like a
clinging to
hardcore.
it. Yeah.
That's
He told me his stories. I was like, dude, I didn't know.
Yeah.
With his mom chasing him through the fields with the car bouncing up and down.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God, he's got stories that are wild.
And it's never just like right now, like, and it's very apparent because even if he's sober from alcohol, sober from, the drugs, really cutting down on his quote unquote process addictions.
Right.
Now we have bags and bags and bags of sunflower seeds showing up at our
It's going to be
doorstep.
something. It's going to be
It's
something.
always something.
It's going to be something.
Yeah.
But you see how different, you're a different flavor than Bobby, right?
Okay.
Bobby is like he has got to do something.
Yeah.
His life is in jeopardy if he doesn't. You're in this sort of contemplative bad relationship with a thing that's odd, not right. And you're just, you're figuring it out.
Okay. So I can.
I'm not
Rock
telling
on.
you. I'm not telling you anything. I'm just saying that your thinking is good and you're trying to figure it out.
Okay.
And you will. So.
Dr.
Okay,
Drew,
Yes, ma'am.
Maybe you're
how
looking
did
If I lean forward, is that okay?
yes,
Am I still not in front of anybody's camera or anything?
I think you're good.
Oh, he's such a pro.
What is you because of your relationship with your mom when you were younger and the trauma that you endured? Like
Yeah,
how did it
Thank
manifest?
you for framing it that way. No one's ever
Yeah.
quite said that to me that way.
How did it manifest in your life, either as a teen, and what are some things that you kind of know about yourself now where you're like, oh shit, like that was very
There were two big themes, I'd say. One was like in high school when I finally got a girlfriend, I clung like my life depended upon it. Like I couldn't deal with the breaking up and forming relationships. I couldn't do it. I just once I got attached, I was like, oh,
Like
I couldn't let
anxiously
go.
attached.
And that poor girl was the object of that for many years. And I feel guilty about that. And
I have that.
you cling to people. Yeah, it's hard. It's really painful. It's really awful.
Well, do you think it's because it's because they're the ones validating your feelings? So then you're like, if I don't have them, then like, what am I?
When you have it's sort of I don't know if I can put it in a rational context, but it's not uncommon for emotionally abused males to get love and sex addiction. It's just sort of common.
Yeah.
And I just was clinging to these things.
in what way were you clingy?
like she wanted to break up, and I was like, no. It's like, what are you talking about? I'm confused.
I've also done that.
That's very
done
yes.
that?
That's an Esther
Yeah.
move.
I was
Yeah.
like, what are you talking about?
I've also never broken up with someone. I've only ever been dumped.
You're still in a
That-
relationship with
that's-
all these people.
and so that's codependency, love addiction, that kind of stuff. It's that
Okay.
stuff. And that's your alcoholic family and
Okay.
all those things.
Esther, so you're telling me if Tony Hinchcliffe never broke up with you, you would still be with him today?
That's a great question.
The
I
answer is-
don't like.
The answer is yes. The answer is yes.
Dave, this is in your hands now. Okay?
but I don't
Do you
even
want to
have-
marry her or not? It's up to you.
I have no idea who that guy is, but I can tell you it would have to get very bad before she would leave.
Tony's gonna have to come see you to deal with the fact that you don't know who he is. He's gonna send him to a spiral.
That says something. Again, you pack a lot into what you say. so
That's our Ani, yes. Annie
nutrient
is.
dense information.
yeah.
Very quick in the middle of your sentence. Too.
And then the other thing was, when I was dealing with patients later, so I started working in a psychiatric hospital in 1985, and I would just get cleaned up by drug addicts and borderlines, people who could manipulate really well and with bad boundaries and stuff. Because I would go, oh, I literally would go, it's comical now. I was like, you were sexually abused as a child. I feel that. I could see the pain in you. I see it. I'm going to fix it. I'm going to make it better. And the drug addict goes, yeah, you are. You're going to give me some morphine. That's what you're going to do. It's like, so I didn't understand.
Is that what Esther's doing to you right now? She's like, it's cool if I eat edibles, right?
It's kind of what she's doing, right? It is a little bit.
Well, I just think she's looking for some papa to tell her it's okay. But that's
Yeah.
my
I think
guess.
I still have a little bit of that.
Yeah,
where
yeah.
That,
Well,
that
yeah.
big desire to be like, let me be your person.
Right, let me help you. Yeah. And so that's an asset. That's a good thing. You got to have really clear boundaries with that.
Yeah.
Clean boundaries. Because our job,
face.
this is back to the body keeps the score, right? The job is to be present for that person, not to catch their feelings, not to rescue them from their feelings, just to be fully attuned and available. And I'm very, very, very good at that now, and it helps therapeutically so much.
I think that's what I'm like feeling from you so much. It's like so amazing. You're present. Yeah, because you're not like, there's no like leaning in to do anything.
No,
You're just like,
it's just we're here with it, and I have some suggestions and things, but it's back in the day, like I'm talking 30, 40. Shit, how long ago was that?
I was born in 83, so it was 30.
I'm so excited to talk about liquid death.
It's actually
Listen to this, guys. That's the sexiest sound.
That's the sound of hydration if I ever heard it.
If you're that person like me where I'm like, what do I do with my hands, especially in a social setting? Like, what do I do? This is the thing to hold.
Yeah, because you
stop giving hand jobs to people next to you and grab a liquid death. Okay.
Also, Liquid Death is blowing up, and we were totally the first podcast to do ads for it. The first people to adopt the Liquid Death lifestyle. Just have to brag.
Yeah. Okay.
And also, not only will it brutally murder your thirst, it brutally murders
Plastic.
That's right. And as trash people ourselves, we like to recycle.
And Khalyla, as someone who once murdered plastic when you took the fake tits out,
right.
you're
And
good.
as someone who stabs fish for a living.
Also, someone who just lives in water.
Yes, she's a
I would
water
know
person.
a thing or two about really good water, you guys, and Liquid Death is it.
This is the jam.
You guys can get free shipping on all water and merch at liquiddeath.com/trash. By the way, last night someone at my meet and greet was wearing a Liquid Death sweatshirt, and he was like,
I
don't
want
even.
one.
He was like, I just think it's cool. Oh, we'll get some. That's liquiddeath.com/trash, or grab some at Whole Foods, 7-Eleven, Albertsons, Safeway, or Amazon. But you guys support us and show Liquid Death that we're the coolest, and go to liquiddeath.com/trash. I love Magic Spoons so much. I want a bowl of
I'm
fruity
hungry. I could
right
eat
now.
one right now.
And I heard they have new honey nut flavor.
Oh,
I need
That's
it.
a classic.
sorry, I just orgasmed.
I
just honey nutted. Excuse me. Oh, it's so good. I really haven't had some. Like, it's been a couple weeks since I've had it, and I am actually craving it.
Why on earth did we have to give up cereal? The one joy.
It was just so sugary. It was so bad for us.
So
like,
bad
it really
for
was
you.
just once you become your own mother, you're like, I cannot give myself regular cereal.
The fact that Magic Spoon was so smart to know that we all were wanting it, we were all missing it, we just needed the healthier spin. Like, thank you for seeing us and making us feel seen.
You guys, 0 grams of sugar, 13 to 14 grams of protein, and only 4 net grams of carbs in each serving, and only 140 calories. It's keto-friendly, gluten-free, grain-free, soy-free, and low-carb.
And you can build your own box, and the available flavors to build your own custom bundle are cocoa, fruity, frosted peanut butter cookies and cream, maple waffle, blueberry, cinnamon, plus the newly reformulated honey nut flavor, which I need to try. I'm so excited. You guys can go to magicspoon.com/Tuesday to grab a custom bundle of cereal, and be sure to use our promo code Tuesday at checkout to save $5 off your order.
And Magic Spoon is so confident in their product. It's backed by 100% happiness guarantee. So if you don't like it for any reason, you're an idiot. But also, they'll refund your money with no questions asked.
Remember, get your next delicious bowl of guilt-free cereal at magicspoon.com/Tuesday and use the code Tuesday to save $5 off.
Thank you, Magic Spoon, for sponsoring this episode and for sending me Honey Nut.
It's not always a good idea to retrace or to kind of
Do you have to
I'm
like
saying
go
it's
back?
trauma.
generally not a good idea.
But you
Okay.
can get to it without like.
Correct.
Right.
So to some extent, you're trying to, for some people with certain symptoms, you're trying to get to the point where they can think of an accident, say they were in, and not have the bodily-based reaction, right? So really what it's about is not about revivifying experiences or clarifying memories. It's about regulating your body and learning to regulate. You said right now you feel it, then that's because there's a part of your brain that's like not with us.
Yeah.
Now, strangely, one of my talents is I can tune to that part. I can. And so I can kind of bring it into the room. And like when I do, I like feel really intense stuff right here with you.
wow.
Is that your spot?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah.
I shit blood a lot.
Yeah.
That's how we bonded.
So that's
friends.
that's it, man. And it does. This is not. And so the reason I know it's hers, and I get chills from it
Yeah.
too. What's that?
How do
Dr.
you...
Drew, you're going to make me have a breakdown right now. I honestly think that my biggest barrier in my life is I'm able to intellectualize everything that has happened to me because I'm like, these are things that
we gotta
happened
stop
to
that.
me.
We gotta stop that.
But if for some reason there's a disconnect with my somatic, like
Yeah,
my
right.
body.
That's normal. That's what trauma does. And so I'm feeling it right now as I'm sitting here. I
But
know
touch
it's
my hands. They're so cold because I'm
yeah.
dying
That's
on
part
the
of the
inside.
dyshydrosis and stuff.
Right,
Hydrosis.
When
right.
you say that.
And I
You're
as
dead
I
inside. I hate that.
okay.
I am kind
Whatever just happened just completely
Yeah.
went away. So I don't know what you're doing, but you're doing something, right?
of. I gazed into Annie's eyes. She's my solve.
No, like you're running away from all this.
Right, I
Yeah.
am.
And so, but the feeling I just had a minute ago was nothing I've ever really felt. And so I know it's yours because of that. And it was cold and weird and scrambly and
Reptilian,
very,
yes.
very
Wait,
unpleasant.
how are you
That's
feeling
cool.
that?
Good question.
He's
like
not
that.
wrong. Touch my
I like
hands,
that.
Esther.
He's our shaman.
But how are you...
It's this weird thing that humans do. We can if you open to the
Attune.
information, we communicate in ways that we just don't all even understand.
Right.
And it's all bodily based. It's through the vagus nerve. It's called a socio-emotional. It's all the biology has actually been kind of worked out, but it's if you're open and you have good boundaries and you see what happened in the past, I would feel the pain from your injury. I'd feel that and I go, I got to stop that. Now I feel your experience coming through me and being sort of somehow being reflected in my body. I don't know how, but when I sit with patients, I'll hear weird music, have strange smells, pain in certain parts of my body.
For me, is it a smell?
Why do I smell potatoes?
Lilacs, floral.
X-Lax.
But anyway, it's weird. But what it does is it brings that part of her in to a safe connection. And if I were working with her, I'd stay with that. And I go, what is that? Who is that? What's going on there? And she would naturally go more into that material. That's different than what I'm telling her to do with EMDR. This is what I would do with a drug addict who needs to, like, very, very quickly, we need to get all of you here and
Yeah.
trusting.
Yeah.
And if that part of you is not trusting, that part of you will pull you out of the process.
That part will be stronger than the rest.
It'll just,
It's
she
like-
won't be able to control it because it's there demanding attention and she doesn't even, you can't control that.
And then
Right.
that shows with people like looking away, stuff like that, or it's just a feeling.
it's even more uncanny than that, right? It's about being everyone present, fully present in the room.
Am I fully here?
I think so. I'm not sure. Maybe
You're
a little
ghosting
a
yourself.
phantom version as you
Cute little
is
thing.
here.
Here, emotions are high. Let's have a banana. Dr. Drew, we have a segment called Banana Break.
Oh, do I have to have banana?
You
break?
just have, you can just
Yeah.
hold it. You can just
Okay,
hold it.
Okay.
Just be present.
Okay, be present.
Dr. Drew, seeing as how you're a man of science, do you believe in?
I'm afraid where she's going. Where is it? Where
God.
is this?
Do
Do you believe in like paranormal, like ghost stuff?
So no, I don't believe in ghosts. And my wife does very much, and we fight about this. No, fight. We joke about it all the time.
She's gonna haunt your ass if she dies first.
And we were, well, then I'll believe in it. then
She's gonna haunt you.
Then we'll know. We were interviewed or whatever. We sat with Tyler Henry, the psychic.
The medium, yeah.
And the medium, and at the end they go, "What'd you think? What he did?" And I go, "Well, all I know is he's not talking to dead people." No, it was my wife goes, "How was this?" She goes, "Well, he's great at talking to dead people." I go, all I know is he's not talking to dead people." And she goes, "He's talking to dead people." And I'm like, this is back and forth all the time. So I do believe that because of these strange experiences I have sitting with people, tuning to their experiences and receiving them, I sort of feel like there's something happening. There's a lot of stuff we're not aware of, right? Our brain is evolved in a environment of evolutionary adaptiveness with very specific qualities, and it doesn't perceive out everything by any means. It's the most elaborate thing and the best thing in the universe we've ever found so far, but it misses a lot. Just infrared light. It just misses tons of things. So whatever's happening when you send information to me and how you send it, how I experience it, I don't think we really fully understand what all of that is yet. But I think my suspicion is that a lot of the self and consciousness is a shared experience. And I think we leave somehow parts of ourselves on each other. And if it's do you get what I'm saying?
A little.
Little. So, and if it's a very important relationship, naturally it's a big imprint on us. There's a lot there in our brain left over. And I think that psychics tune into that somehow. Much the way I was tuning into your traumatized self, they can tune into people.
Do you feel me trying to break your boundaries and get in?
Break my balls, but not my boundaries.
Don't be scared. Happy place.
I don't. Esther she's an anti-ghost lady. She doesn't believe in any of that.
And it's interesting to me how mostly women are the ones that believe in all that stuff too. It's fascinating to me. I think your brain is better than ours, right? You have this big corpus callosum. You can tune into the right side of your brain, the left side of your body tunes into bodily based experiences. So that's what I have to call on when I tune to you, but I have to work very hard at it because I'm a male.
Well, that's because they didn't stick their finger in your vagina.
Maybe that's part of it. Maybe that's the tuning process.
They tuned us.
But that you have a great instrument for all this. So it's interesting to me that you guys more seemingly more naturally believe in that
Emphasis on the seemingly. She's
I don't, and I think my reasoning is like kind of almost
You're not
sad.
a fucking idiot. I think that's what I heard.
That's what you said.
Like,
Yeah.
You believe in ghosts? Are you a fucking idiot?
But I was raised with absolutely no religion, and I think you kind of need to buy into that to believe that like there's spirits and
right,
stuff.
Maybe,
like,
yes. That
and
makes sense.
For me, I don't have that. But I'm starting to like try to believe in like spiritual
it seems like it seems to be nice, doesn't it? It seems like a good thing.
Yeah, especially because like I grew up in the same house that my dad grew up in, which was my grandparents' house, and they passed away before I was born, and so like I want to like believe that their energy is there.
I
like,
get it.
So
it's certainly they're in you.
Okay.
Yeah,
right.
That's what I was gonna say.
And maybe having that there sort of fills whatever's in you or triggers whatever's in you in some way. Because we leave the sense of self, I think, is far bigger than the reality of what we do with and amongst each other. Like, for instance, I think a collective something is for sure. So I don't know what it is, but it's something as humans. But that what we do, what we become, and what we feel, and everything we experience is really interpersonal. It's all about other people.
But is that just a basic as like I used to hang out with a friend who would always tell me that I was stupid, and then like I woke up one day and was like, I believe I'm stupid because I hung out with this person. Like, is that?
That's a little more cognitive, but that's an example of that kind of thing.
But wouldn't it be like the tracing back to like what is it that happened before that would let you hang out with someone that calls
Right.
you
Why would you be
stupid?
attracted?
Like before
you know,
that
one of the things
even.
no one ever talks about is
Whoa.
attractions. Why would you be attracted to somebody like that?
Yes.
Because there's something in you, like you're searching for someone to like solidify some negative thing that you have in your
Or
head, maybe.
something about trauma and unpleasant experiences in childhood sets up attraction.
That's sort of why Bobby and I always ask. When Bobby and I first met 10 years ago, there was always like, why do we feel like old comrades? Like that's the thing. We're like, we should see this relationship through because we feel like old like vets who were in war together. But then I'm like, now that I understand it all and I understand his background, I'm like, we are old vets. Like we have a very similar traumatic childhood and story, and you know what we search for and what we're attracted to, our baseline is very similar as well.
Is that what I've heard about on TikTok called like a twin flame relationship where you're like the same and you connect?
No, that's when your best friend who's a twin doesn't show up to your party and you go light her house on fire.
I don't know what that refers to really.
Like
The twin flame is like, it's like,
Soulmate,
chakra type stuff.
People who are dating and they're like so the same and like so deeply like trauma bonded.
And sometimes
or
they're
something.
like
the
not
trauma
supposed to
bond
be
is a real
together.
thing for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. If you look, why do the classic is a woman who keeps going after abandoning men when dad was never in the picture when she was a kid. That's sort of the classic thing. Men do the same stuff. But sort of the more visible one is that one because it happens a lot.
I don't have that one.
I had a friend that pointed out to me that I would go, each guy I would date would either be like super hyper masculine and like verbally abusive or like feminine and very avoidant. So it would go like dad, mom,
Right.
dad,
Well,
mom,
or-
dad.
or-
and now my boyfriend's
Good.
securely attached.
Good. Therapy, yes.
Yeah, it was self-work. Yeah.
Because some secure attachment is a hard thing to come by.
Yeah,
right?
I can't believe. Well, I went younger. He wasn't taken yet. No younger ladies.
But having an alcoholic parent will make you seek help.
Grandparent, yeah.
Yeah.
But that's gonna come
Attracted
through.
to alcoholics and
Well, for me, the alcoholics in my family didn't traumatize me in the I think like a traditional way because it wasn't in my like family unit. It was my grandparents and like extended relatives. For me, what it did was we bonded. Me, my mom and dad and sister bonded over how we don't do that and how that's bad. So that's why I feel like I don't have traditional like alcoholic trauma.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Do you think that's why you're asking for his approval? Because your family unit who you relate to, you guys are sober, and then now you're doing this thing that they
Maybe,
don't do?
yeah. Because my parents.
Oh, you're letting down the whole chain.
I know my parents do think it's shady that I'm doing it, but they're also
Gonna
can't.
start eating weed soon too. They always tap you eventually. I have a question about your relationships. I know that you don't end them, but do you start them, or is it someone? Because I know that, you know, like we're dating our parents kind of. So is it like someone that comes in and takes care of you the way your mom
it
does?
happens,
or
but again,
jokes
but
with
to
you
your
like
point
dad?
though, you tend to go all one way or the opposite. That's the flip side of the same coin.
Yeah, same thing, right?
Yeah, but now that's why down the middle is good.
I feel like I'm always the pursuer. Like even every guy I've dated, I feel like I've gone after them. But like non-romantic relationships, you're making me think of something which I wanted to ask you was like, I have this pattern where I meet people and I think they're so funny and so exciting and so intoxicating and I become almost like obsessed with that person. What's that about?
She has a tattoo of my name.
And she doesn't
I'm a
have
little
one of my
concerned.
name.
And that's the big concern.
So again, it's I don't know the depths of what's going on, but it's that you idealize, right?
Yeah.
So idealizing, de-idealizing. That's what that is. Are you also for yourself? You're a perfectionist.
No, but I feel like I hear things about perfectionism and sometimes I identify with them, but I don't. I'm
You're not
pretty
aware of it.
sloppy. My mom and my sister were always like when we did like crafts together, like I always just remember like everything they did was so perfect, and so my instinct was to be like I'm gonna do bad and like be messy.
But I mean more in terms of what you demand of yourself.
Oh yeah, hard on myself. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of goes together.
Why?
Just does. That's why
Okay.
I've noticed it. But the idealized, because then you have an idealized sense of what you need to be, and and then you'll have a
Yes.
idealized union with these idealized
And
people.
if I'm not my idealized self, then I'm so mad at myself
Yeah.
and hard on myself.
yeah,
Yes.
and you're doing the same thing with others, which is sort of the common thing, and you
Whoa.
get sort of all blown up about those people. And maybe you have some magical thoughts about what they're going to do to help you be your idealized self.
That feels like I feel confident I don't really do that anymore, but I do know that sounds familiar for sure. Like just, yes, like a person is magical and like almost an addiction.
Yeah. This may sound like a funny question. Is it fun? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So great.
What do you mean?
It sounds fun. It sounds like if you're able to play with it and not be really destroyed by it if they don't reflect your needs perfectly, and you can have fun with it.
So it's almost just like that's how I make friends, and it's okay.
I don't know you will have to say categorically that's true, but it just occurred to me that it felt like you're having fun with it.
Yeah,
and that's okay.
I don't think
maybe you're right too, because in this business, it's like I get to meet new fun people all the time. Yeah. Like I was just on the show Dollface and like got to hang out with Kat Denning, Shane Mitchell, Brenda Song, and was like, this is so fun.
Yeah, so fun. Have fun with it. I mean, it's this feeling I get is you have fun with it, and it doesn't hurt you. So
if you were like even with your friend Christina, who's like your best friend forever, I'm a twin, and then Christina, her best friend, is a twin.
And who lit the house on fire?
I have to be very close friends with twins a lot. I don't know if that.
But if you were like psychotically attached to Christina, which I know you joke about, but if you really were, you would not have moved away from her. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you're right. That's a good.
Do you know you would have like stayed like
right? That's why it's fun. Do you have were these identical twins or fraternal twins always?
No, I've just always fraternal twins.
Fraternal girls, right?
Did you lose a twin in utero when you were?
No,
I like to think that she's a hemorrhoid. That
we call her our resident teratoma.
Oh my god!
Came across this TikTok that kind of made me feel a certain type of way, which was the girl at a grocery store was asked, hey, what's your name? Like out of nowhere, just somebody coming through and saying, hey, like, what's your name? Yeah. And her feeling immediately like, I don't want to give this random person my name. I feel that a lot.
Oh, interesting.
I want to ask you, it's like, why do we have an obligation to tell somebody who we don't know our name?
You do not, but let's sort of examine the interaction. So people love it when you use their name. That's just a normal human thing. Mm-hmm. And so when I meet somebody for the first time, I always ask them their name and I try to use it because I feel like it's polite. But if somebody felt like you're taking something, you've had stuff taken away from you by random people. It's just that you're guarded. You don't want people to take, it's your name. Fuck you. You're
the first person to say that I'm guarded because no one. Usually, because I give so much information about myself, people would not. I'm one of the most guarded people ever, and most people don't catch on to that.
I could see that. But I couldn't see how you couldn't be guarded with that history. You'd have to.
So my name is just an extension of that feeling.
Something, people taking something from you.
And also, like, if you think about it, it's like the girl's like grocery shopping. It's not like she's in like an interaction where she's meeting someone. It's like she's just like going about her day, and then someone comes in and is like, give me your information in the middle.
One of the things I want to caution, this is more for the audience, everybody, when you talk about traits and characteristics and stuff, I can't think of any trait that's all bad. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? They all have adaptive qualities. Mm-hmm. Now, you may not like it and they may interfere with relationships and you may need to change it. But like if you were a fighter pilot, I want the most narcissistic asshole sitting in that F-18. That's who I want. That's who I want in there. I'd like an alcoholic too, because they really get off.
Yeah, and they're loose. They're loose.
Yeah, and so that's who I want sitting in the pilot seat.
Yeah.
If we're in a relationship and you're guarded, that could become a problem. We're gonna have to kind of work on that. But if you're in a grocery store and you're guarded, maybe good. It's maybe an okay thing.
Yeah, it's something that like protected you.
Yeah,
I was
protecting you.
I was sharing a lane line the other day with a guy. He was like, hi, I'm Joe. And he was asking me about the long fins that I was wearing. And he was like, what's your name?
Is it worse with men than with women?
It is. Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. With women, but he this is how he said, what do you do that you're able to lap swim at noon? And immediately I was already like, why do I have to tell you that, Joe? Yeah. And I was like, oh, I just do, things here. And he goes, what's your name? And immediately I was like, I just could not.
It sounds to me like he recognized you.
No, he didn't though.
And what did you do?
It's this common thing. I said my name reluctantly.
See, the interesting part to me.
And then felt like you sold yourself
and then I felt, I was like, I didn't need to give my name.
The interesting part to me is that in spite of you having such a strong emotional feeling to the contrary, you still went along with it.
Yeah, but that's me to a T. I really betray myself a lot.
The more problem part of that whole interaction was the self-betrayal.
Yeah. That's,
Yeah.
yeah.
If I had been there, I would have yelled. I would have been like, "She's not gonna fuck you, dude." I love like jumping in and just fucking getting a man away from a girl. I'm like, this is what I do.
Yeah, I'm super codependent in that way, but I need
That's
an
what that
Annie
is.
in that
You know what I
situation.
mean?
Yeah.
Like where you're like, stop. Like you can just sense like you're in a swimsuit. He's just trying to fuck. It's like, get the fuck away from me.
Yeah.
You know what I look like
I'm
in a
just
swim
trying-
cap? It's not hot.
You
Annie.
are so delusional. I can't stand you. You're so hot. It's like-
Well, that is bringing up something interesting about, I think, our dynamic, which is I feel like Annie and I in particular are people who we need to be told no. And I feel like you're someone who you might want to say no, but for some, you don't, like he just
Overextend,
said.
yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like,
But tell me more about that. What do you mean you need to be told no? Give me an example.
okay, so like if
Go say it. Say it.
I'm like not quite thinking of a specific, but it's more like
Yeah, go ahead.
I need to be told if I'm annoying you. Like I don't want to annoy you.
You would rather be told than be doing the act. You're not doing it to annoy someone.
Yeah.
So then it like hurts. It hurts your feelings if someone doesn't tell you. Or something.
Exactly. Like
Right.
I don't ever.
You would
want,
rather someone tell
I
you
don't
the
want someone to
boundaries.
sit and hang out with me if I'm being just. I would be so much more soothed if you're like I've had enough of you, and I'd be like I wouldn't be offended by that. I'd be like, oh great.
And I could never say that. I'm someone who was like, I wouldn't dare hurt her feelings in this moment.
Right.
And so that's
But you
what-
might get mad at her.
But
later.
it's not get mad at her
If
later.
you
But
guys were romantically involved, it would be.
I'm so sorry. You're not romantically involved.
You know what I mean? It would be
He
bad.
finally said
Yeah.
it. Someone said
It would be you would get turned off all the time. Is what would happen.
let's take
Why?
it back,
You would be
Esther.
like,
Let's
"Ugh."
take back the words. We don't mean what we just
So
said.
my clingy self as a 17-year-old or whatever would have driven you you would have been like, that's disgusting. You sing it across the room, would have bothered you
Why?
because it's the opposite of what you want somebody to be.
Oh, because I actually I'm learning here. So I want someone to say no to me.
You want somebody to be honest.
Yeah.
You want somebody to be present. You want parts of yourself that are real that can be irritating. You want to hear when they're irritating.
Yeah. So then why would a clingy person not?
Because
be
I would
good?
never tell you that. I would never tell you. I'd be
Too afraid
I'd
to
never tell
rock
you
the
anything.
boat, which is
Yeah, it's what we're talking
ultimately
about.
me.
Yeah.
I don't want to. I'm so afraid of my parents fighting or my parents, like I don't want to ruin a
Cause.
moment, cause a stir. So I just, I'm kind of spineless. Bobby and I talk about this all the
You
time.
are not spineless.
Oh, thank you for saying that. I'm not spineless.
You're codependent. Those are different things.
And I think that's
Because I think if you really needed to stand up, you would.
yes, I do. And I think that ultimately, like, push to the corner.
Yeah,
I'm
you
like,
would.
all right.
And
Yeah,
you'll
yeah,
protect
yeah.
other people too vigilantly.
Yep.
Yes, you'll do it for other
Yeah,
people.
just not so
Yes.
for herself.
Yeah.
That's right.
Not you're right, and just
Yeah,
not for myself
yeah.
a lot.
I know it's
And-
confusing for you. It's interesting.
I'm like,
She can't believe it. It's interesting. To me,
You're
it's
like, how are you
this is
saying we're not
act-
dating? That's what you're saying. We're not in a romantic relationship.
No,
I
no,
got that
no.
too.
Would not work. Would not be good. But or maybe it would. I don't know. But it seems like it would not be good. But we'll try it out.
Work
I don't
hard
know. It's
today,
like
Doctor.
enjoy.
Dr.
But I relate strongly to what you're saying.
Yeah.
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 And I'm recovered from that, and I'm telling you, it's a lot better.
I'd like to get there eventually.
Yeah.
I think that
I think EMDR would get you off the ground really quickly.
Do you think it's like a black and white thinking too, where it's like if it's like if we assert our boundaries, it's going to be like this very negative thing?
I wasn't
and it's-
allowed to assert my boundaries
Right.
as a child.
And then
at
if you
all.
were to, then it's like it would be this huge thing rather
You
than
know
it
what?
just being kind of like a.
It's that's a really important question. What she's going to do is build an internal boundary around her emotional self, which doesn't require doing anything. It's just
Right.
there. You understand? And
Right,
so
because she could give her name without it being an issue
she
too.
will
if that-
feel whole and not intruded upon in those moments, and so she can react in a regulated fashion. She wouldn't go, "You gross, stay away from me." She'd go, right now I'm busy. I'm so sorry. It should be appropriate with him.
Yeah.
I just say, and be
Right.
able to be fully there.
Right. And
Yeah.
I am not. I am
I know.
so dysregulated to where even a tiny interaction like that throws me off completely. And then I'm spending the next 30 minutes breaking it down of how I could have done it better,
And
why
shame.
I felt.
Ultimately, it's shame.
Yeah, it's the shame cycle over
Yeah.
and over
So
again.
you got to regulate all that so the shame goes away and she's connected to those parts of herself, so that part is there with her when she's interacting with people. So it really isn't about, hey, don't do that. That's a different kind of boundary.
Right.
This is the microsurgery of building.
So that it doesn't even matter. Like the external locus of control is not as important as like
it's the being whole and being regulated. And it's funny that I keep pointing at my stomach for you, right? I think I had some of that too. Is probably why I'm going here. But for you, it really is here.
I gave myself basically like I have colitis. So
I bet it goes away when you get properly treated.
Oh yes, it really does.
Unless it's like inflammatory bowel disease, like ulcerative colitis, or like just common variety.
I have flare-ups here and there. It's not like a chronic thing that I deal with every day. But the higher the stress, you don't take Humira or any of that stuff. I take a suppository called mesalamine.
Mesalamine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we insert that for you on the live show?
Oh my God, yes.
I would love to. It'd be an honor.
Oh my God, yes. I want you guys to actually learn how to insert a suppository. It's the easiest thing ever.
I would love to.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You're doing a lot of really important work here.
It seems like God's work now.
It's really getting to the meat of it. You know, we're gonna be fingering our assholes sooner than later.
Mesalamine is aspirin.
And a safe place.
I have to say, my mind is blown still on like the concept of like you wouldn't be like, could you ever see yourself telling me like
I'm in love with you? Let's kiss.
Like, could you ever see yourself being like, Esther, like not now, or like
the one thing that
I've seen her do that, by the way, at an airport.
But it would come out wrong. It would not make her happy if she did it.
Correct.
Really?
So here's the thing. During the times where I've been like, I cannot do that, or I'm putting my foot down, I still throw myself into a shame cycle.
Right.
I don't feel good.
And it will come off a little aggressive. When she gets to that point where she has to do that, it'll feel like she has to be kind of angry.
Because you've been like waiting because it was like maybe like there felt like a natural time to do it before that she ignored.
She doesn't feel it. She doesn't feel it before.
Right.
And when she feels it, she's angry.
And then all of a sudden
it really for me is it is a lose-lose. I'm so dysregulated in that way. So it's either I betray myself or I betray myself. You know what I mean? Like those are my two options because I am unhealed.
It's a really powerful statement, but I get it.
What? Wow. Like,
I find it so fascinating. This is all bewildering territory for you.
Really?
That's a cute part about Esther. Things are like bewildering a lot.
I'm like, what would someone like me do who wants to have a relationship with Khalyla and wants to like travel with them and like how?
Exactly what you did, which is you told me I like being told when I'm being annoying, and I received that exactly as you said it, which is I'm going to try to do that from here on out. It's going to take some effort on my end, but
still confusing. It's so funny. But tell her more often and more frequently exactly that. You guys are brilliant with the use of humor. Use lots of humor and practice it.
Yeah.
But so also like Esther is like triggering to some people on vacation. I swear to God, it's not me. But like Eric Griffin was talking to me about how annoyed he was that you stayed in the hotel. She's like a potato. She's a potato vacationer. She likes to sit and she was watching the news. We were in Hawaii. It is annoying. You're like, okay, this is annoying. I'm just very used to it. It was 12 years of friendship. But so Esther, so then when we talked to you about it, you said something to me about, because I am just at peace with that. I just didn't expect anything different from that. And I think it's hilarious. It was a school shooter day too. She was literally in Hawaii watching a school shooter news.
It was not a school.
It was a school shooter day, Carlos. It was a school shooter day.
I will say
it was a school shooter day. She's blocked it out.
Disappointing.
So
that was not what I was focusing on. I was on my phone.
But you said that you would have liked someone like a producer to come and like drag you out and force you to do the activities.
If it was for work,
right?
And we were shooting stuff, and yes, like that is. I would have liked that.
So you want someone to, is that mom or dad? Like, knock, come do it.
Well, my dad always, even still to this day,
drags.
Like threatens, like he'll grab me by my ankles and pull me out of bed if I won't get up to go to Target with my mom.
I can take that role.
But you know, Esther, when I see you being that way and you're a little bit defiant in some situations, I really respect and envy that about you. Because I don't have that same defiance. I couldn't stand up to my parents. I had to just say yes to everything that they demanded out of me. I was a racehorse. Like I had no autonomy. I had no like identity. Who I was what they told me I was.
So then I get jealous of that because I'm like, you're a hard worker and you know how to do things. And like you can, if someone says do this, you can do it right away and get it done. Like that's what I hear.
So isn't that back to that point of none of these things are all liabilities? They come with assets. Everything comes with assets and liability. Everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
But is
I'm gonna
it
take
true?
that home
Like,
with
because
me.
I feel like any fight I've gotten in with Esther has always been me mad at your boundaries. And then when I think about it, I go like, it's actually very impressive. Like you really like, if you have a boundary, it's like, there's no, I'm like, but what if this is easier for me? You're like, no, bitch. And I'm like, and then my pattern is to like, hold in and try to people please. And then I get so pissed. But when I think about it, it's like, I do really like what Khalyla's saying. It's like, I do really like admire that in you. It's like wild. I've like never
It's
seen
just
someone
because we
that
don't
will
have it.
literally.
And it is, I do feel like there is a similarity because I have a specific memory of a time where I remember I texted you if you wanted to go walk and you got mad and I was like, why is she mad at me? I just invited her to something. But then I like look back at it and I was like, you felt like because I asked you that you had to.
Yeah, because
And
I
so-
think what was going through my head was like, you would go, can you come at this? And it would be like an impossible time for me to get there. And then I'd be like, now I'm rushing. And you'd be like, why aren't you here yet? And I'm like, because it takes me longer to get ready than you. And it's at your house. And I'm coming all the way to you.
But it's like in my head, I'm like, well,
But I wouldn't have even dared
no.
invited you to my house. Do you know what I mean? Like people pleasing wise, I wouldn't have even invited you to my house because I would have been like, she's going to say no or whatever. I mean, I have dreams where you like leave me like places. Like you're in my life. You are tied in.
Wait, I have dreams like that, not about you, but
Yeah. I know they're not about me. I know, Esther.
No, my childhood best friend, like where
Yeah.
I'm always like trying to hang out with her and she's off
Yeah.
back to school or missing.
Yeah, but sometimes like, is it a dream or is it the Comedy Store and you've left when I'm on stage and I get off stage to take a picture with you and hang out with you and you're gone.
Do any of these
And you're literally not there. But I don't know. And I would wait 4 hours for you. But it's okay.
do any of these issues get in, or how do these things operate in your intimate relationships?
Great question. I feel like I accidentally fell for a guy who's very healthy. And
How dare you?
like,
You went through some shit to get there.
Yeah.
You went through some unhealthy.
but like literally just got accidentally lucky that the guy I thought was attractive happened to be like really
Okay.
secure. And so I feel like I've almost grown and changed through being with him for so long. But certainly not without its like we joke, he's always like, I should have broken up with you years ago because I would like I was like the queen of ultimatums.
The ultimatum goddess.
But we're like better now, and he's really happy that I'm on Lexapro because I had really bad anxiety.
And cannabis.
Yeah, he's like thinks I'm overdoing it with
Yeah.
that.
The anxiety can get worse over time with the cannabis. Be
Yes,
careful.
that's exactly what happened to me. I called 911 on myself.
Yeah.
And I used to be just an
What?
avid smoker.
Yeah.
And eventually it started to have the reverse effect.
Yeah.
I started to
and
become
then, And then what
paranoid.
everyone does, and what did you do in response to that when it first started happening?
I don't remember.
Smoke more.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes, that's it. Yeah, and then I started
you
really
get
loading
into
up
the
on the
cycle.
edibles.
I used to say that weed makes me doubt my Leo. So then I go into those shame. Every time I was big, like if I went on a podcast or something and I'm in a time period where I'm smoking a lot of weed, I would come home and be like, why did I say that? Oh my God, I was too much. I was too this or that.
You
or
were too
whatever.
big.
Yeah, I was too big on a fucking podcast, which is like the only way to bomb a podcast is to not talk. But really like, yeah. And then
Where'd you guys grow up?
I'm Philadelphia.
Philadelphia.
Twin brother.
Skokie, a suburb of Chicago, highest number of Holocaust survivors in the country.
Oh.
Winner, survivor.
Is that your family too?
Well, we don't really know. I was raised Quaker, lightly raised Quaker.
What's your ethnicity? I'm just curious. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like
Stop the podcast.
Ashkenazi, like 20% Ashkenazi, and
From
then,
part of the Holodomor.
I don't really know.
Ukrainian
It's
thing?
just through 23andMe. I've completely blocked out the war, so I hope it's not Ukrainian.
Yeah, I'm gonna bet.
I'm Ukrainian. They're coming for me.
Oh my God, Annie, imagine if you were actually Ukrainian.
I just wake up every morning and I go, I'm going to choose myself
Were
today.
you told you were Russian?
Yeah, people speak Russian to me constantly, but I'm not Russian.
They don't say you have Russian descent. Your family doesn't say that.
No, everyone was. My mom was adopted, which is a
Yeah.
lot of
Yeah.
stuff happened
Yeah,
from that.
yeah.
And then my dad's mother was adopted. So the 23andMe say that we're like 20% Ashkenazi, and then the rest is like British, I think.
Because a lot of Ashkenazi was a exodus from Ukraine.
But people speak Russian to me a lot, like in
Yeah.
distress situations.
I'm
Like, I
always
can't help you. I don't know.
people always tell me that because I'm half Ashkenazi and I'm half Finnish, and I'm always told that the Jew side is
The Jew side.
I'm Russian. I must be Russian because my last name is Povitsky and it ends in a Y.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm just
I
going
thought,
based
like,
off
The
that.
Eastern European.
Come on,
for sure.
keep Russian. Let's finish it up. Sorry.
And usually when they say Russian Ashkenazi, they mean Belarus, Ukraine.
Okay.
Ah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Which is probably what.
Yeah.
Maybe we're cousins.
We must be.
You were with my mom. Maybe you are related to my mom.
And you were
somewhere.
raised in
Philippines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And why'd they come over?
So my sister and I were part of the Philippine national team for swimming, and it's very limited the support and the resources to become.
You trained here.
Right.
Yeah,
So
got it.
my dad was like, also my dad had lost all of his money back home. So he was like, fuck, we got to go.
Yeah, wow.
And also you really got to step it up and be the prize goats because
Oh boy.
we don't have money for college. So you better get into D1 school. And we did.
And we're going to take you to a doctor that fingers your ass.
And and do
On
that.
top of that, we're going to get you rectally raped.
And we're going to make sure that, you know,
Wow.
you have 3
That's a
suicide
whole-
attempts before the age of 18.
That's
why I
a lot.
ended up in BHC. I ended up, you know, like I'm very familiar with
PhD down Alhambra?
Alhambra, twice in Alhambra.
Alhambra.
And then one in Torrance where that counselor.
That's a good hospital. I'm sorry that happened. I don't know about the adolescent program, but you know.
Yeah, I mean, it was. I
Yeah.
mean, overall, I thought it was a good stay. I remember
Yeah.
singing Casey and JoJo a lot there and like
To the
really
guy.
like
Unfortunately, he
emoting.
was singing it back. He wasn't supposed to sing the other fucking part.
He wasn't supposed to be JoJo.
Yeah, I really do feel like my reason for being alive is to talk about trauma in a funny way and like help people get over it. I really love to do that. It's where I feel really most aligned. And I talk about it in my set and I pound people that were molested. We have a fun moment. I do this whole set. And then a comic, I'm not going to say his name, comes up after me and goes, wow, how many people did you fuck in that set? And called me a whore on stage. I was like, I had just gone up after Chris Rock had done an hour of comedy. I smashed doing this stuff, had this exchange of energy with people. And he said that. And I was so upset. And I said something to him afterwards. But it's I know that I can't teach someone this, right?
Teach.
I can't teach this man that he can't. I told him I don't like that he did that.
Did he respond?
Yeah, but he's been talking shit on me and stuff about it. And it's it just was to me, it was so hurtful that that's what he got out of my set when it's there was this underlying message.
But that says more about him than anything
Exactly,
else, right? I've noticed Jen Kirkman lately railing on male comedians.
Yeah.
And it's there's something going on. I don't know quite. That your story is very vivid and not okay.
Yeah, and it just, I guess to me it was but what I'm trying to sort of reframe is I think it triggered something in me where I was am I coming off like a slut or is that what I'm sounding like? And what I realized is I'm I could literally heal people through jizz jokes. That's a gift I have. Do you know what I mean? I can tell
very
slutty little
important
jokes.
gift. It's very
But do you know what
important.
I mean? I can get these messages across while telling these jokes. And so I'm kind of reclaiming that and not upset. But I was so fucking.
I'm trying to. That story is shocking.
It makes me
horrible.
so
It is-
mad.
it is
And then he
shocking.
bumped me the next night, and I was punished for telling him.
Dr. Drew, after an hour of sitting with us, are you experiencing compassion fatigue?
Yes.
Is it a lot? I know we came.
Yes,
on
I
strong.
am. And
I feel where I felt that right here.
Yeah, I noticed it. I normally don't, and I thought that was interesting. No. It's something that some people do to me, and I was trying to figure out which one you was doing.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
I don't
apologize.
think it was you. I'm not sure because it was odd. I felt I need a coffee, and I thought,
You know,
why?
I felt-
I'm into this.
It doesn't have oat milk in it because it's Esther.
I felt that
Yeah,
from you.
I'm sure. Well, that's your codependency, and I wondered, is that just me? Didn't sleep enough last night? No, I think I did. And it's
No,
wow.
But you came in and we were all pushing each
I
other's
know.
side. But I have trauma. And Esther's I don't have trauma. And then she's but I did have a miscarriage. We're you have trauma, bitch. Are you kidding me?
But I learned from Esther though to say yes, I did feel some trauma fatigue.
Yes.
No, everything's fine. Everything's good.
Yes, we need Esther to give us more Esther.
Well, on that negative note, we'll let you go, Dr. Drew. Thank you so much for
Yeah,
this.
Thank you.
you.
It was
Do you
really
have any
fun.
closing words? I interrupted.
You guys
all.
are great, and I enjoyed it. And it turned out to be much. I mean, you exceeded all my expectations.
Aw.
So,
Yay.
You too. It was so
Right.
fun. It
I
was
know.
So perfect.
Please come
Thank you
back.
so much.
We'll
Right.
need it.
We love you.
Once a year.
if you do the work, and we'll see how it goes, and give me an update. I'm trying to motivate you. So.
Yes.